Guys, I'm really happy to welcome to the podcast Alex Marlow. He's a New York Times bestselling author. He's editor-in-chief of Breitbart News Network. He's national talk show radio host as well as a podcaster. His website is called alexmarlow.com, and we're going to talk about his book called Breaking Biden. Alex, welcome. Biden has a role, I think, here with regard to this crisis in Israel, these Hamas attacks. Some people think that it's merely that the Biden administration was negligent. They were caught napping. They were too focused maybe on domestic issues. But what do you make of the money flow, $6 billion going to Iran, and then Iran saying pretty explicitly, yeah, we're the guys who helped to plan and orchestrate these attacks?
Yeah, and Dinesh, it's so great to be on your show. I'm so looking forward to the new movie. And for audience members, Dinesh and I go way back, half a lifetime for me, when I first came into contact with Dinesh and hosted him when I was a student at UC Berkeley. So very, very, very fond memories. I knew Dinesh before he was cool. That's what I tell everyone. But you're right about this. Iran is openly taking credit. Raisi had said flat out, he's going to spend the $6 billion on whatever he wants. It doesn't have to be on, diplomatic trade or humanitarian stuff. Well, whatever claptrap is in the official paperwork, it's not going to happen. And he was literally laughing at us for thinking it would be any different. So this is a total disaster. And of course, blood is on Joe Biden's hands in all this. And it's not just because of the $6 billion. It's because of all of these weapons that he left in Afghanistan, which immediately fell to the hands of terrorists. It's because his foreign policy across the board has shown an unwillingness to take national security seriously. Look at the border policy. If you look at the way he's conducted Middle East diplomacy, where he's made a point to alienate Israel and Saudi Arabia and elevate Iran. So everything Joe Biden has done has laid predicate for what happened. And so I blame him more than anyone else aside from the terrorists.
Do you think that some people have speculated that, hey, look, on the southern border, we don't just have guys coming over from Tijuana. We've got people from all over the world, and there's a significant number of Middle Easterners who have made, able-bodied males who have made their way into the United States. So what assurance do we have that, let's just say, Hamas, in coordination with Iran, is coordinating a strike, and it's a strike with some strategic objective? We can't assume that this is just purely irrational. They have a purpose for doing it. Why wouldn't they send a bunch of fighters to create sleeper cells, perhaps in the United States? Do you think that that's outside the realm of possibility, or isn't that a logical move of a terrorist organization that seeks to move the dials worldwide?
Of course, it's in the realm of possibility, and anyone who doesn't see that is a fool and willfully blind. It is. We have an open border. We allow for all sorts of people in all over the world. Dinesh, I was down at the border a couple of years ago doing a big documentary for Breitbart, and there were Chinese nationals that we saw going over the border. We saw it with our own two eyes. We don't need to read some report on some blog. We were there. It's not just people with brown skin. It's people from all over the world who can come through the border. So we know that's possible. We also know that these Hamas terrorists are willing to die for their cause. And so they don't care about the consequences. They feel like they're advancing a mission, even if they get caught or they die in the process. That's a very potent and scary combination. And when you've got a guy at the top who clearly doesn't take security issues seriously, we're incredibly vulnerable right now.
Do you think that what's going on at the border is that Biden is being influenced by these sort of left-wing open border lawyers and activist groups and NGOs and nonprofits, and they're all basically telling him, listen, you got to do this, and not only is it the right thing to do from our point of view, but it'll accrue to the long-term benefit of the Democratic Party. It's going to sort of shift the demographic composition of the country. And all the rest of it is like, who cares? You think that their attitude is, we've got to be relatively indifferent. Are the cartels making money? Who cares? Are a bunch of Chinese and Venezuelans who cares? Is that your understanding of what's going on?
In a nutshell, I think you're very close. spent 15 months trying to get in the head of Joe Biden, which was a hazardous undertaking. But I will tell you, he never is guided by doing the right thing. It's never something that guides him. What guides him is power and money for his family. That's what he is. He's an operator. So when you think about the future of the Democrat Party, he wants a dynasty. He wants a legacy. They're dependent on having an influx of new voters come in, because as people get raised in America, they grow up, they realize the values you've been preaching, Dinesh, for 20 years. They realize those are good values. So they become Republicans, they become conservatives. So they have to import this new group of people. And he has to appease, for today, his left-wing base. That is his backbone. That's his backstop against any of the scandals that take place that involve him. He will always dodge those bullets and come out unscathed, so long as the left-wing base is happy. And they like open borders. They like the idea of America is not a special place or an exceptional place. It's just a blob of land between Mexico and Canada, and we should let whoever wants to come in, come here and do whatever they please. That's the base viewpoint. That's the globalist viewpoint with those world elites you referred to, who are cutting the checks around the world to enable people like Biden. They're all on the same page on this. So Biden's hands are totally tied. He's basically got to leave the border open, no matter how vulnerable it leaves us.
We'll be right back with Alex Marlow, author of Breaking Biden. Last month, the G20 announced it welcomed discussion of the effects of implementing central bank digital currencies in their countries. Well, these digital currencies could allow the government to track every purchase you make. They could allow officials to prohibit you from purchasing certain products, or even freeze or seize part of or all of your money. Now, in essence, this enables the government to control your finances. And a lot of concerned Americans, me included, are diversifying our assets into physical gold with the help of Birch Gold Group. Now, if you want a physical asset held in a tax-sheltered retirement account, you should call Birch Gold. Debbie and I are customers. We buy our gold through Birch Gold. Find out for yourself. Text Dinesh to 989898. They'll send you a free information kit on gold. And here's the easiest way to become a Birch Gold customer. If you have an IRA or a 401k, maybe from a previous employer, Birch Gold can help you convert it into an IRA in gold, and you don't pay a penny out of pocket. Text Dinesh to 989898. Claim your free information kit on gold. Then call them, because if digital currency becomes a reality, it'll be nice to have some gold to fall back on.